Hi everybody, this is Jill Stein coming to you from outside the barred gates of Columbia University in New York City, and this is not what democracy looks like. We are basically barred from going in to support the students who are standing up for us all, who are standing up for our civil liberties, who are standing up for our right to protest this genocide that is being committed in our name with our tax dollars against the will of the American people, who by a huge majority oppose this genocide and this ongoing massacre. It is a core function of our democracy to be able to debate this, to be able to call it out, to be able to discuss it, especially on our campuses, on our universities, which are supposed to be the site, really the home for debate and dialogue. Yet that dialogue is prohibited. Our basic First Amendment rights to free speech, the right to protest, the right to gather, to petition for redress of grievances, this is being prohibited. That encampment, which is taking place here and in universities and colleges across the country, this is now very much in jeopardy. It has been scheduled for disruption, for basically assault by police forces repeatedly. Now that that attack has been postponed until tomorrow, I believe, and maybe it is still being negotiated. But it is so striking. This is happening almost to the day, 64 years after the movement here at Columbia University, in protest of the Vietnam War and in protest of the support that the university was providing to the war contractors and the contracts that the university has. And that again is a demand of the students that the university step up to the plate and that it divest from the war industries and the war effort. This is very much what needs to happen, not just at Columbia University, not just at colleges and universities across the country, but this really needs to be national policy. This is in fact the decision of the International Court of Justice that this is a plausible genocide going on in front of our very eyes. That label, plausible genocide, is the most definitive label of genocide that can be determined prior to years of study after the fact. So the Court of Justice, as well as the Secretary of the UN, have basically said it is incumbent on all of us to basically stop this genocide from rolling forward. That is what students are doing here. They are using their First Amendment rights, and in standing up, they are standing up for us all, because we are all, witnessing this horrific attack on our First Amendment rights. I should mention here also that the techniques of crowd control that are being used here on campuses now to suppress this discussion, to suppress this movement for democracy and peace, those techniques are very much connected with the Israeli occupation forces and with specific training programs, these international training programs now that bring the formerly IDF, we call it the IOF, the Israeli occupation forces, in to train our police forces. This kind of assault on democracy is also enabled by this 1030 program, I think it is, which transfers military equipment actually into our communities and goes a long way to make law enforcement so dangerous to our communities right now, and especially to college students. Looking back some 64 years to the prior shutdown of Columbia, there were approximately 150 students that were hospitalized from the brutality of the police attack. There were 700 who are arrested. We are looking now at hundreds of students who are being arrested and who are being brutalized, as we see in the footage on social media. I also want to mention that the smear that opposing genocide is anti-Semitic, this is fundamentally an anti-Semitic smear to suggest that genocide is okay with Judaism and that opposing Judaism is somehow anti-Semitic. To my mind, that is the most anti-Semitic thing that one could possibly say. And we're looking at the celebration actually on campus here 2 nights ago at Columbia, where there was a large public Seder that was held in celebration of the Jewish holiday celebrating liberation, where people were making the point, we can't celebrate historic liberation of the Jews while the people of Palestine are subjected to the worst forms of abuse right now, in the form of genocide, in the form of starvation, in the form of denying food, water, shelter, under constant bombardment, told to flee from one place to another and then being attacked in that other place. It's just shocking. And Netanyahu's effort to broaden the war right now and to violate international law yet again by attacking the embassy, at from Iran in Syria, that itself was a horrible violation of international law and an effort to draw the U.S., which is giving a blank check here to the government of Israel, to go ahead and expand this war. So this is an effort to distract from the violation of human rights, international law, and the generalization of our excuse me, there's a little disruption, I think, going on here. Yeah, all right, so a little disruption going on behind us. So, yeah, well, I'm Jewish too, and I'm here. It's a Jewish value.
Nobody's asking you to be scared.
Opposing genocide is a Jewish value. Opposing genocide is a core value. The Jewish people have homeland. Thank you, as a Jew, as a descendant of refugees.
You do not represent, you are the minority. You're the 1%.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So at any rate, ignore that 0.1% who is mandating genocide right now. We are not going to stand up for, yes, this is unfortunately what we are seeing all over the world, where a very misguided Zionist movement is attempting to crush the liberty, the human rights, the right of children to survive. The most basic rights to survival are on the line, and in fact the efforts of the Israeli offense forces, the Israeli occupation forces, to further instigate violence here against civilians, against students who are simply standing up for our constitutional rights to have this debate, to have this discussion, because if that discussion is held, the American people will stop this genocide, and we will support our human rights and our international law. As Gaza goes, we all go, and it's really critical that we stand up, because Gazans are the canary in the mine shaft here. And what happens in Gaza can happen and will happen anywhere. We must stand up and support international law. We must support human rights, and we must support the right of the Palestinian people to freedom, justice, and dignity. Thank you all so much for being a part of this unstoppable movement that we are together. Thank you.